Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Inside the Blue podcast. I know it's been a while since I've made an episode, but the holidays happened and New Year's happened, and there just really wasn't anything to talk about. This offseason in general for Major League Baseball has been pretty slow, pretty quiet. There's been a few good signings here and there. A few big names have gone to different teams. But for the Dodgers, there really hasn't been anything huge since Edwin Diaz signed with them. That is until today. The Dodgers just went out and signed Kyle Tucker to a 4-year, $240 million deal. And we discussed in previous episodes that the Dodgers really needed to address the outfield. They needed outfield help. They really had a spot out there that needed to be filled, and they have filled it in a big way. Now, I discussed in previous episodes that Kyle Tucker would be nice, but I felt that he would be a bit pricey. He was projected to get somewhere north of $300 million, and that obviously didn't happen. He was signed for $240 million, so it looks like he took less money for a shorter deal, like a shorter year deal with a high AAV. So he's getting paid $60 million a year. That's a lot of money. And yes, that is a lot of money for the Los Angeles Dodgers, even though they can print money, I guess. But, 60 million is incredibly high, especially for a guy who batted below 300 last season, and in his career he is a below 300 hitter. So do I think that he's worth that amount of money? Personally, I don't think so, but he is a very, very, very good player. This does not take away from the fact that I don't think that he's a bad player. I don't think he isn't an all-star player or a great player. I just don't think that he's worth that amount of money. But, the Dodgers think that he's worth that much, and we're going to see. I mean, him and Cody Bellinger, like we've discussed in a previous episode, had very, very similar numbers. And I wanted one of either Cody Bellinger or Kyle Tucker. I just felt Bellinger would have been a bit cheaper, but we went with Kyle Tucker. And honestly, the more I look at this deal and the more that I look at his numbers, I'm pretty happy to have Kyle Tucker on the team. So what exactly does this mean for the outfield now? So looking at our outfield right now, we have Teoscar Hernandez, Andy Pages, and Kyle Tucker. Now you can throw Tommy Edman out in center field as well, but I really think that they're going to go with Andy Pages. So with Kyle Tucker, I can see him sliding into right or left field. I think, and this is just speculation on my part, I really think that they're going to slide Teoscar Hernandez in left field instead and put Kyle Tucker in right field with Andy Pages in center. So I really think that that's going to be the outfield for the 2026 Dodgers. I believe Kyle Tucker on the Cubs was primarily the designated hitter, but we all know that, the Dodgers already have their DH. It's obviously Ohtani. So Kyle Tucker can't slot into the designated hitter spot if it's taken up by, Shohei Ohtani. So I really think that Kyle Tucker is going to be in right field and Teoscar Hernandez is going to be in left field. And I wanted to get into Kyle Tucker's numbers. We went over his numbers in 2025, but let's take a look at his numbers as a whole in his career. So his career numbers are pretty good. They're good. They're average. I think that he has a pretty good average. He's batting .273 in his career. He has 147 home runs in his career. So that obviously fits in with the Los Angeles Dodgers. They are a home run hitting team. They rely heavily on home runs. They were the top home run hitting team last season, and they're always up in the top 3 home run hitting teams every season. So he fits right in there. He has 490 RBIs. He has 119 stolen bases, and his on-base plus slugging is 865. So again, his career numbers, very, very good. He is a great, great player. So he's going to fit into this Los Angeles Dodgers lineup very, very well. And speaking of that lineup, where would he slot into the lineup? Well, I saw a picture on Instagram that has him batting second. That could be a possibility. You know, you're always going to rely on Ohtani to be your leadoff hitter. I think that Ohtani is a good leadoff hitter. You know, he's a great leadoff hitter. I really think that Ohtani should bat a bit lower in the order just to give him more RBI opportunities so he can hit with people that are on base. But it is what it is. I actually like Ohtani in the leadoff spot because he's someone that can get on base, and the guys behind him, Mookie, Freddie, and now Kyle Tucker, will be able to have a lot of RBI opportunities as well. So I think that it can be Shohei Ohtani batting first, Mookie Betts batting second, Kyle Tucker batting third, Freddie Freeman batting cleanup. That is going to be the first 4 hitters that pitchers are going to face. The first 3 hitters are going to be Ohtani, Betts, and Kyle Tucker. That's what I think the top 3 should be. And, you know, everyone thinks of the big 3, Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. But I really think that Kyle Tucker is a good contact hitter, and I think Freddie Freeman is also a fantastic contact hitter. Obviously, he's one of the best contact hitters in the game. So with those 3 batting above Freddie Freeman, gives Freeman the opportunity to score a lot of runs. He has a lot of RBI chances because, you know, Ohtani and Mookie and Kyle Tucker are all going to get on base. So with that said, you could slot Kyle Tucker into the cleanup spot as well. I wouldn't be opposed to that either. Again, it gives him a lot of RBI opportunities. I mean, he has 490 RBIs in his career. Just last season in 2025, he had 73 RBIs. So, you know, you want to have people on base for Kyle Tucker. So that's why I think that he would fit well in the number 3 spot or the cleanup spot. Either of those spots, I'm sure, will be okay, and I'm pretty sure that the Dodgers are going to put him either 3 or 4. I don't see them putting him anywhere, 5 through 9. They're not going to put him in any of those spots. It's definitely going to be within the top 4 spots. So, with all that being said, I think the Dodgers have added 2 great additions to fill 2 major needs. They added Edwin Diaz to fix the bullpen. They added Kyle Tucker to fix the outfield. They have a very lethal starting rotation going into the 2026 season. And could they do more? I think that they can. Will they do more? Maybe. Personally, I think that they've done more than enough to fill the needs that they needed to address, which was the bullpen and now the outfield. So both of those things have been addressed in big ways. And I think that they were in prime position before these moves to have a good chance at going back to back to back and win another World Series championship. But now they are in an even better position to go back to back to back. We have not seen a three-peat champion since the Yankees from 1998 through 2000. That was the last repeat champion that won 3 back-to-back-to-back World Series. Can the Dodgers do it? I don't know, but they are in prime position to do so. I am very, very, very happy to have Kyle Tucker on the team. I wish it was Cody Bellinger, but again, it was between Kyle Tucker and Cody Bellinger, and either of them I would have been happy with. The contract for Kyle Tucker scared me a little bit, and it still kind of not bothers me, but it's still a bit pricey for sure. But I think that Kyle Tucker is going to show that, hey, I'm worth that amount of money. So with all this being said, I really wanted to get this episode out there because it literally just happened like an hour ago or so. Actually, probably like an hour and a half ago. But I really wanted to get this one out there. And I know that there have been a lack of episodes lately. Again, it was the holidays and really nothing was going on in free agency, especially with the Dodgers since the Edwin Diaz signing until today. So more episodes will be coming soon. We are getting closer to opening day 2026. We're getting closer to spring training. So when spring training starts, I already know that this podcast is going to go full throttle. We are going to analyze the spring training games, go into some of the, younger guys that we see in those spring training games, analyze their performances, and just kind of go over what to look forward to in the 2026 season. And then opening day will be here, and this podcast will be full time. We will go through game breakdowns. I think the way I'm going to do the regular season is I'm not going to recap every game. I'm going to recap the series. So instead of doing an episode for every game, I'll do an episode that recapped the series, whether it be 3 games or 4 games or whatever it might be. I'll do a recap of the entire series, and that'll be the episode. Unless something like crazy happens in one of the games, then I'll talk about it, anything interesting that happened. But for sure, really diving into the analytics and stuff like that, I will save for when I break down the series as a whole. So expect that kind of format. Let me know what you guys think of that format. You can follow the podcast on Instagram. That's at Inside the Blue Podcast. And let me know what kind of format you would like to see this podcast do. So yeah, just let me know. Follow me on Instagram, and let me know. And if you want to talk baseball, I'm always available to talk baseball. I love talking baseball with a lot of people, with everybody pretty much. I'm sure my girlfriend gets sick and tired of, hearing me talk about baseball, and she's probably just like, talk to somebody else about it. So yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one.